Hey guys, welcome back to the middle 7 holes of the final round of the 2022 Indiana State Championships right here at Brown County Country Club. Due to some technical difficulties, we've lost Elliot, but he'll be back here for the final 7. Looking at our lead card here, Lucas Rooney, Connor McKanna, Joe Byerly, and Eddie Ward. Luke is currently leading the tournament at 25 under, shooting 3 under through the front 7. Starting out here on the middle 7 on hole 11, across the water, a short hole. You've got a little window here, you can go straight at it, or there is an over the top spike hyzer play to get to this par 3. Lucas first to tee. Looks like he's going with the straight mid. Great shot there in the circle. Connor's up next. He is throwing that spike hyzer I was talking about. The only issue with the spike hyzer is it does tend to push a little bit long. And that sometimes can give you a death putt coming back of the water. And he's going with more of a hyzer play into the window, and that works really nice. Joe going straight at it, but doesn't quite get the fade, and he gets tied up in those trees. He does stay dry though. Joe's got a tough stance just to get out. He does get out. Should be able to tap in for his par. Here's that death putt I was talking about. Connor straight downhill, a little bit of wind. He nails it, continues to play great as he has all tournament. Lucas has about 20 feet for his birdie look. Makes good on that.
Didn't even need to change.
And Eddie with the easy birdie there on hole 11. Moving on to hole 12. Hole 12, 290 foot, par 3. Basket is perched up on this ridge here. It's kind of a, even though it's open, it's kind of a tricky hole to get your disc to stay up on this ridge and not filter down to the left. Throwing the forehand does help to go against the slope, which is what Lucas is doing here. It's like a slow disc, probably a zone. It's probably edge of circle short. Connor's gonna take the wide hyzer. Sometimes it's pretty difficult. You gotta choose your spot out on the right and get it to stop quick. And he goes a little bit long, but he'll have a putt. Eddie going straight putter, but leaves it a little low. So he'll be outside the circle. Joe going straight at it. Looks like a putter, and that holds over nice. That's 12, 15 feet. Eddie's got a long look, probably outside circle 2 here. That was a brave putt. He knows he needs strokes now. Gets a little bit of a roll away. Connor coming back from long, probably just outside the circle. Oh, just catches the right side of the cage. Gets the replay. Just hangs on. Great birdie from Connor. And Eddie with the par putt there to save his 3. Go with his birdie putt. Lucas with another birdie, another great putt. And he's now birdied 5 in a row on round 3. Moving on to hole 13, downhill hole. We've got this evergreen here in front of the basket. You can choose to go right side or left. Either way is fine. The right side does fade into the slope. If you're a right-hand backhand, you can throw kind of a spike hyzer, but Lucas, he loves his forehand, so he's going out forehand left. Just got to put it wide enough so you don't get tied up in the tree. It's a little skip down the hill. That's a fantastic shot. Connor's going to follow, but he throws a little bit high and gets caught up in the tree. Now he's going to have a downhill 50 or 60 footer. Joe taking that righty backhand hyzer route. Just got to kind of pick a spot out in the sky. Control your distance. Good shot from Joe. Looks like Eddie's going to do the same. Picks it a little bit wider. A little bit long. Looked to be a little bit faster disc. Connor from distance, just trying to get it under the basket. Oh, and Eddie just tickles the chains for his birdie putt. Good low spin putt from Joe to get the birdie there.
I like it.
And Lucas for 6 in a row here. Par does not feel great on this short par 3. It feels like a must get. We're on to one of the biggest holes here at BC3, hole 14, almost 1,000 feet. These pine trees on the right, you have to stay to the left. There's a mandatory left on the first tree. You got OB left along the tall grass there. And you get down to the bottom of the hill and you'll see a tunnel here to an elevated pin. This is a very challenging hole. Got to make a decision off the tee here, trying to go for more distance or just play for position and make sure you make the Mando. Low forehand from Lucas, but he gets back in bounds. That's scary because you're over OB the entire time going with the forehand. Joe playing the position hyzer just to make the Mando tree there. Puts himself in the middle. Doesn't get quite as much distance, but inbounds is good on this tee shot. Connor looks at the forehand. Really nice shot from Connor. If you got a big enough forehand, you can get past the Mando tree as long as you trust your disc to get back in bounds. I think that's probably the play. Eddie looks to be going big. But he gets a lot of turn. There always seems to be wind on this hole, dragging everything down to the right towards the pine trees.
I had a feeling that would happen.
It's a scary shot too, because you have the OB on the left there, and anything that fades out can end up out of bounds left. That tall grass there on the right side is in bounds, but the footing's not great. And he's gonna go big again, but he's starting to hyzer out towards the out of bounds. He is going out of bounds left. It's the mistake you'll see a lot too. You're afraid of the OB on the left, and you end up pulling it right into the last pine tree there. Which is what Connor did. Didn't progress very far down the fairway. Lucas, with his big forehand, can just kind of mash left side and let it filter down to the right. Not a bad spot there. He'll have a 4-iron down the tunnel for his third. Connor going right over 15's tee pad and scares the next card.
Yeah.
Like I said, it tends to suck discs down to the right here. There are some backdoor gaps there behind 15 that you can get into the basket, but it's tight. Here's Eddie throwing from his OB lie down the tunnel.
Oh, what is that kick? Gosh.
Joe with his third.
Hold it.
Coming down the tunnel.
Sneaky.
Gets to about circle 2. Lucas, a little bit low. Just to the mouth. So here's where Connor ended up after throwing over 15's tee pad. He's got tight gap, but decent recovery shot there. He'll give himself a chance at a par. Lucas with his fourth.
Oh, what a kick. Man, that was so lucky.
Gets a good kick and ends up about 10 feet. Giving it a bid and ends up down the hill past the basket. You can see the wind's really starting to pick up here. Eddie probably just outside the circle coming back. And Joe just chains out.
How does that not
And so does Eddie. Good scramble by Connor to save his par. Staying alive, 4 shots behind Lucas. Lucas for his par. Oh. That is a brutal roll down the hill from 10 feet away. Totally not his fault. Terrible roll. He's not quite sure what to do with himself. Got to make this to save a bogey now for Lucas. Just a little bit low.
I guess the wind plays around.
Joe taps in for his par.
I mean, I got that nice kiss off the tree, so I guess just don't lie or whatever.
Lucas with the unfortunate double bogey. Really nothing else he could have done there. Eddie takes an 8 on that hole and falls a little bit further behind. Moving on to hole 15, par 3. Kind of similar to hole 12, a little bit longer version. You got woods down on the left and a long slope. You just got to get it to stay up here on this ridge. After that unfortunate break with Lucas, Connor's now within 2 strokes. Joe going forehand, which I think I really like that play.
Go in.
You can use the slope to stop your disc. He goes a little bit long, but he'll have the putt. Connor also going forehand, leaking a little bit to the right. He catches the landscaping timber and slows him down. Lucas catches it also. He'll be in the circle. Eddie with the more common play you'll see is the righty backhand. Problem is this tall grass doesn't give you any kind of a skip, so you tend to get stuck up there and then you've got a bit of a death putt. Joe's looking at it, back of the basket here. Great putt from Joe. Pulls within 5 shots of the lead. Eddie from edge of circle knows he needs to make this to get himself back in it. He nails it. Great putt from Eddie. Lucas from just inside the circle. He likes that bounce back after the bad break on hole 14. He's now birdied 7 out of the last 8 holes. Connor with a good putt. Keeps pace. We're moving on to hole 16. Moving into the woods. A little short par 3. There's a low righty backhand line. You can skip to the basket, or there is a fairly thin forehand line on the left. Really, if you can just get to the ditch just in front of the basket, you'll give yourself a putt. Joe taking that forehand line and gets right to the spot where you want to be. Identical shot from Connor there.
Great shot. Thanks.
Lucas gets the skip over the ditch.
Yeah, right up there.
And he'll be about 15 feet. Eddie with the forehand, but he gets a bad kick down to the left, but not too far down. Be in circle 2. Oh, great bid from Eddie, just a little bit short. Lucas with the easy birdie. Joe and Connor will step down into the ditch and their birdie putts here. We got 3 birdies on the card on hole 16. Hole 17, one of the most fun holes out here at BC3. Throwing down into this hole, downhill, kind of into the darkness here. Basically got to keep it straight. You can throw a straight putter or a straight mid. Sometimes a flex forehand will also work. Miss here tends to be right because the downhill you'll get it nose down and then pull it over to the right. Joe gets a little kick down in the creek in front of the basket. Connor taking that forehand play I was talking about. Really nice shot. Similar shot there from Lucas. See Eddie going forehand here again. Gets caught up a little bit at the mouth. Be probably just outside circle 2 here. Another good run, just a little short again. Tricky putt from Joe there, just a little to the right. Connor cashes his birdie. Lucas hits his. Connor and Lucas starting to pull away a little bit from the pack. That's the end of the middle 7 here at the 2022 Indiana State Championship. Lucas and Connor starting to pull away like I mentioned. Peyton Stamen shooting hot, 5 down. He's jumped into a tie for 3rd with Joe off the chase card. Look forward to seeing you back on the final 7.